Hi, my name is Tim and I'm a homeowner, and today I'm going to create a how-to video for fixing ceramic tile in the shower and the cement board that's damaged behind it. This is my first YouTube how-to video, but I've watched so many online and learned so much I thought I would share. So if you take a closer look, I'll show you what I'm dealing with today. So in the shower here, what was going to be a simple caulk job, I had a cracked tile here, and I'll put some pictures of the cracked tile in the video. When I tried to pull the tile away so that I could replace it with another piece, the backer board came out as well. So if you come in closer here, this is the cement board that sits behind the tile. And you can see the mortar or thinset or whatever that was on the back of that, if you can imagine, and the tile sits over top of that. Well, in trying to pry that tile out, the whole cement board broke as well. And so this is what the profile looks like. You've got your tile and then the cement board that sits behind that. And so what we need to do is we're going to need to pull away some of these tiles. So what we can do is put cement board behind here, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then we're going to replace some of these tiles. So fortunately for me, this is a newer home, and the builder left behind several extra tiles. So I should be able to hopefully pull some of these back, expose the cement board behind here, and then patch in another piece, tape the mud to seam. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll replace the tiles. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try to do is remove the tiles around the area so that we can patch in some of the cement board. And to do that, hopefully without damaging the least number of tiles possible, I'm going to use this multi-purpose tool with a cutter, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And what we're going to do is, if you come in here, we're going to cut these grout lines of the adjoining tiles so that we can hopefully take some tools such as a stiff putty knife, and you might need a wider one than this, but we're going to try it. And then we're going to try to stick it underneath the tiles and start working them away. We can use this too, and the goal is to pop these tiles off. They're going to get damaged, and I've got some extra ones that match. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, so this is the multi-purpose tool. Here we go. Safety glasses, because there's going to be probably some shards and stuff flying, and you don't want to damage your eyes. So put some safety glasses on, and I'm going to give it a shot, see how this goes. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of tricks or tips that I learned watching other videos online. Is if you look in this corner seam here, there was like this cement, can you come a little closer? There was like a cement caulk in this seam, and to get it out of there, what I ended up doing is using a stiff scraper, putty knife or whatever, and just kind of working it down like this to get it off, to bust that out. And so it came out pretty well. This is pretty rigid stuff, the cement caulk or whatever it is. So use a stiff putty knife, go down the corners. I couldn't get my multi-purpose tool in there because of the angle. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to pry the tile away from what's left of the backer board without totally doing more damage to the backer board. So I'm just taking my stiff putty knife and I'm just kind of working it underneath, just to loosen it up, and then you'll see it should start to break off and come apart. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. There's not a lot of room for working in this corner, and just slowly work that tile off, and then I'll come in and I'll do the same. This tile in this tile, and then I'll have to measure to see where the next stud is, but I'm guessing it should be 16 on center so I can patch in my cement board. So this is the progress I've made taking the tile off the board so far. If you can zoom in a little bit here, you can see I got a stud here and a stud here where I'm going to try to attach the new board. But what I'm doing still is I'm just trying to get these last two bits of tile off, and I'm just going to show you how this works with the stiff putty knife. I'm just sticking it underneath there, and you'll see you just kind of but once you get it under there, it comes off pretty easy. And so I'm just kind of working my way. Just moving it around. Taking care, trying not to damage the tile above if I can. It just comes off like that. And you'll see there's still a lot of mortar on here. We'll use a sander on the multi-purpose tool when we're done to clean up whatever of the cement board we're going to reuse. Alright, so I've decided I'm going to try to cut here and here with the line I put in. I put it up 10 inches. I wanted to make sure that I don't end on any grout lines, so you'll see in the middle I should be well into this tile that'll be here and there, so I won't have seams lining up on the grout line this way. And if I go this way here, I'll have a grout line here, and it won't be on top of this seam. So I think I should be okay there. Got a utility knife, gloves, all right, and I'm gonna just work at cutting, trying to cut this section out. All right, well, I've scored this a few times and I'm not having much luck cutting through it with that blade, and I'm a little bit worried about damaging more of the board above. So what I'm gonna try is to use my multi-purpose tool and just cut this section out. Mask for sure, because that stuff is not good to breathe in, and then safety glasses. And then let's see if this works better. Alright, so I was able to get that out, and what I ended up doing is, you saw where I scored using the knife blade across this line, and actually what worked out best is I got some channel locks or some vice grips, and I just kind of grabbed it, and I just broke it, basically pushed it in on itself, and it broke right at that seam where I'd scored it. So that ended up being the best method for breaking loose that. So now I have a piece here that I'll measure out, and I'll cut some Durarock and we'll screw it in, and I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, so before I put this, cut a piece of Durarock to put into this space here and attach them to the studs, is all the old thin set for the tile. I'm going to try to at least get a lot of it off so that when I put the new thin set on the tile, it doesn't stick out noticeably further than the surrounding tiles. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking the stiff putty knife that I had before, and I'm just kind of working my way and just kind of cleaning off the old thin set. I'm also going to, so I'm going to work away at this for a while, and then I'll probably there's a sanding pad attachment that goes with this that has sandpaper that I'll probably put on this too after I get the big chunks off, and then I'll just come and sand. I'll show you that, and then the goal is to get this pretty clean before I start putting the stuff back together again. Okay, so here's my cut cement board Durarock to fill in the space. You'll notice I cut it a little long here on purpose because there was a pretty big gap in that corner like above. And I'm pretty sure that the lack of support in that corner is what helped lead to that tile cracking in the first place. So there's a gap back there and I'm filling it with the board. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach it to the studs, this stud and the stud over here, using these screws that are for Durarock. I'm using 1 5/8. Got these at Home Depot. It was like $8 for 150, and this was the smallest box I could find, and I only need about 4 screws in total, but it is what it is. $8 for these, and I will put those on here in just a minute. Alright, so I'm going to screw this in now using the sheetrock screws I just showed you. Just want to position this kind of the way I want it in here. We're going to tape and mud the seams, so it doesn't have to be precise. But I'll put a screw over here in the corner to hold it. Here by the stud. Another one down here. Kind of putting them in an angle so I make sure I hit that stud. Make sure that gets in there good. That's it. I'll probably put one more here for good measure. Alright, that's it for now. Alright, now we're going to tape the seams and then we'll apply some thin set, probably tomorrow because it's getting late today and I got to run. But here's the board seam tape that is for cement backer board. Got this at Home Depot. At the end of this video, I'll post pictures of all the materials I used from Home Depot. This is the self-adhesive stuff. It's not that complicated. All right, I have a little bit more time, so I thought I'd go ahead and apply this thin set so it could set up overnight because I'll finish the rest tomorrow. Not that it needs to, you can pretty much start tiling, but I'm running out of time for today. But this is the stuff I got at Home Depot. They recommended. I could have got some cheaper stuff, the mix stuff, but this was 20 bucks. It's ready to go, so that's what I'm gonna use. And what we're gonna do, it's already open here, I opened it. Put down a little garbage bag here just to protect the shower basin. And I'm just gonna apply a very thin coat on the joints so that hopefully it creates a nice barrier. I know there's a trowel or something you can use, but I'm just doing this quick. So and the trick is to put it in there good and cover up the seam, but you don't want to put it on too thick where it's going to create an issue for you when you go to tile. Get it on there. Get in the seam. so here we are back at it. We're going to put our thin set in for holding the tiles and put our tiles in place. I have my tiles that I cut already, and I've dry fit them to make sure they fit. I've got them here. I've got a bucket of water with a sponge, just in case there's any mess I can clean up quick. My thin set, a trowel, I think that's what this is called, with the right teeth and marks for the size tile I'm using. It's just a patch job, so it's probably not as important in this application, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my thin set and set my tiles. One thing to make sure of when you put your tiles in here and set them up is you want to try to make sure you've got a nice level edge or application. You don't want a tile sticking up or beveled or anything here. So once you put them in place, wiggle them around a little bit, make sure they're where you want them. And that's it. So I'm going to do it now. Okay, I've got my tiles set now with the thin set, but because a couple of these tiles are kind of big, I don't want them to sag when I go away. So I had some shims, some old wood shims in the garage that I just put just barely in there, just to keep them up a little bit, to keep that grout line consistent going across when I go away while this is drying. I just didn't want to come back to have it sagging, and the grout line here is so tiny, it's too small for any spacers. But the wood shims I was able to put in there just a tad bit, just to hold them up a little bit. So just a quick tip for you. All right, that pretty much wraps up our video on how to replace a broken tile and repair the backer board or cement board behind the tile in a shower. Pretty much just need to grout now and caulk, which was the original plan, around the basin and up that seam there. And that's it. Thanks for watching.